Namaste, Rev G. On behalf of the Darshan Center for Spiritual Evolution, where our vision is attuned to a higher awareness of oneness, recording here from our ashram, home ashram. And I like to do these weekly messages, these little insights. They help raise me up. Our dear friend, Sheikh Shafayat Muhammad, always reminds us and says, I remind myself, that's why I'm doing this, I'm reminding myself. And it's true. I mean, this is what ministry is really not about, inspiring others. It's about inspiring myself. It's about inspiring me. I feel like during this difficult, challenging time, we need encouragement, constant encouragement. And I'm looking for encouragement as well. I can get into a very fearful place if I allow myself to go down that rabbit hole. I'm always saying that, but I do believe, I have a very strong belief system, coming from a recovery background and a recovery toolbox. I know that I'm powerless over this situation. I'm powerless over what's happening. I have, great acceptance. I have great acceptance of what is, and at times, and it goes back and forth. It wanes. It waxes and it wanes like the moon. I have acceptance, and then moments where I'm frustrated and I can't wait for this to be over, to be done with. I want to come back to normal. I'm worried, and I go back and forth from worry to complete faith, worry, faith. I'm worried about, we just signed this lease in January, literally, December, but the end of December, December 22nd was our opening, and then, before you know it, we were gaining momentum, and then boom, we had to close our doors. And this worries me, troubles me, because we made a big leap of faith around this lease, and the landlords requiring, not letting us off the hook if maybe some other landlords are letting their tenants off the hook, but ours is not letting us off the hook for anything and discounting nothing, so our doors are closed. And this is not a pitch for contributions. It's not. It's just to share with you what my inner rabbit hole looks like, And so I have to say to myself, don't go down that rabbit hole. Don't go down that rabbit hole. God has always protected you. God has always been with you. And during this Ramadan season, which we are in actually day 19 now, we are so reminded by the attributes and characteristics of God, of the divine, of the beloved, of Allah, God, Goddess, all that is. You who go by so many names and yet the unnameable. I know somewhere deep down inside, I have a step 2 in my life. I've come to believe in a power greater than myself that could restore me to sanity. Like, I know that. I know that without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt. And then in comes the human flesh, and in comes the human condition of, okay, today is, May 13th, and we're still not, back, back together again, and that we're not able just yet to have services in person. We will soon. It's coming soon. We're discerning what the right thing to do is, and when that will happen. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen, and it'll happen outside first. We'll have our own phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is going to be outside. We're going to do it outside in the back. And we're going to ask you to bring your lawn chairs like you did in the very beginning. I'll announce that when that happens. It's coming soon, in a few weeks. Not just yet. I don't feel that it's prudent just yet to do that. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, one of the names, in fact, today's name. We're going through the 99 names, the 99 attributes of the beloved, of the divine one. And today is day 19 in Ramadan. Ramadan, again, is this time when we commemorate or celebrate, Muslims all over the world are remembering that the angel Gabriel gave the Quran to Muhammad. And that's what really Ramadan is about. And there's fasting involved, and it's about 30 or so days. And so Muslims all over the world are uniting in that prayer time of 5 times a day, and fasting and remembering. And this is what it's about. It's about remembering God and remembering God's greatness and God's mercy. So today, day 19, is Al-Mu'iz, the giver of honor, and Al-Mudil, the giver of dishonor. You say, what? How could that be? What? How do you, the giver of honor and the giver of dishonor. And in my Darshan Center members private group, I posted my insight on this, my thoughts on this, along with, I'm learning a lot from the Sufi interpretations of what the attributes mean. But it reminds me of Saul in the Christian scriptures, when Saul, who was this anti-Christian warrior, was knocked off of his horse, and he became Paul. So he went from Saul to Paul. It was dishonor to honor. It was the giving of dishonor by getting knocked off his horse to the giver of honor to elevate him as this great minister of the gospel. It also reminds me of my own life, times where I have been completely and totally dishonored by some circumstance. And that what I realized from that is the lesson in that and the gift in that was ultimately, it was the dishonoring of the ego is what it is. So it's the ego coming off of the horse, right? It's the ego coming off of the horse, and it's the honoring and the elevating of the soul. See, so that's what really this day, day 19, is all about. It's about the dishonoring of the ego, which needs to be dishonored, right? You need to take that ego off of its high horse and elevate the soul. You see the same thing in the Christian scriptures when Jesus walked into on a donkey into Jerusalem, came into Jerusalem through the gates of Jerusalem, and it was a real showing of humility by Jesus. Here's the Master Jesus, right? The King. He's the King of Kings, right? And here he is on a donkey, not on a horse, but on a donkey, symbolizing humility, symbolizing that the ego is being dishonored in a way. So you come taking that ego off of its high horse and elevating the soul, the Atman, the Hindus say, the Atman, the soul, Shekhina, the Jewish scriptures teach us. This is the energy of the soul, right? So the ego has to be dishonored in a lot of ways, and the elevation of the blessed self, of the higher consciousness. We're raising our consciousness is what it is. We're honoring the higher consciousness. We're honoring the higher vibration, the higher frequency. So what we're doing is we're raising up faith. We're raising up acceptance. We're raising up gratitude, but we're taking off of its high horse fear, doubt, uncertainty, mistrust. So I remind myself of these things, and I remember that God's got us. All is well, no matter what the circumstances and appearances are. That all is well, and that soon we will be together in the flesh, in person.